everyone, and welcome to video 11 of my 2011 Halloween card making series. So for today's card I am using this image from Stampendous called Fluffles Ghostie because I could not do this series without a Fluffles stamp. They are one of my favorite lines of all time. I've had them for years. So I stamped the image with Memento Tuxedo Black ink onto the Bella's Bestest cardstock. And again, I'm going to color him in with my Prismacolor pencils. And obviously, as he's dressed as a ghost, I want his little sheet to be white. So I just started with this Sky Blue Light, it was called. Very, very pale, pale blue. And then I added a teeny bit, this is Parma Violet. No rhyme or reason why I chose to add the purple. I just did. I just thought it would give it a little something. It's really hard to tell on camera, but in real life you can kind of see just that slight purple tinge to it. And then I just blend everything out with my odorless mineral spirits and a blending stump, both of which I bought at Michael's. I've been getting a lot of questions about that. They're just the Grumbacher odorless mineral spirits and then paper stumps, both of which, yeah, you find at in the artist section at Michael's. So now for his little body, I am going in with, these are French Gray 50% for the lighter color, and then I'm going to use French Gray 90% just to add some spots and stripes to him and whatnot. I kind of had our own cat at home in mind when I colored him. So yeah, again, I love Fluffles images. I'm not even a big cat fan, but I just think he's so darn cute. And he totally reminds me, if you guys haven't seen the Simon's Cat channel on YouTube, he makes the funniest little cartoons. I'll post a link in the description box. They're freaking hilarious. You guys have to check them out if you haven't. Anywho, so for the little mouse, I used Warm Gray 30% and Warm Gray 50% to color him in. And then to finish off all of that, I used yellowed orange and orange for his little pumpkin basket, and then went in and added a little bit more because the center I didn't have enough color left. So you just go back in, add a bit more color with one of the pencils, and then blend it out and you're good to go. It's always better to have too little than too much. So for the little face on the pumpkin, I just went in with black, and here I've been using just a really tiny, I think this is the smallest size stump you can get. It's really small and it's perfect for tiny little detail spots like this. And then for the candies, I'm just using some like lilac and violet and then a couple of different greens to color all those in. And then just a darker purple. I think that one was just the violet one that I used for the last little candy. So once all that's done, it's time to color the ground. So I'm going in with the chartreuse, and then I'm going to use apple green. Just kind of scribbling that down first, and then scribbling down a bit of the apple green. And then blending all that out with the larger stump and the mineral spirits. And using the right kind of paper, like smooth paper like this, really makes a difference because it allows the color to blend and to move. You can push it around a lot more. And then now just to make some actual grass, you just need a sharp pencil crayon, and I'm just using the apple green and then kelp green, which is a darker shade, and just making a flicking motion. No rhyme or reason, just going in and adding it as I see fit. And you can do it like this, add quite a bit, or you can just do a couple little spots here and there for a little bit of grass. It's totally up to you. But yeah, it just kind of gives it a little bit more kind of texture and definition to the image. So really quick and easy. And then for all the shading and that, I just used a couple of Copic markers, just my W1 and W00 Copic markers, just because it was quick and easy and I didn't feel like doing a bunch of blending and whatnot with the pencils. And as an afterthought, I wanted to kind of pull focus to what the mouse and the cat are saying, so I just used my V12 Copic marker and just scribbled over that, and that was it. So once I've got them cut out with my Spellbinder circle dies and matted with a scallop die, it's time to go onto the card. So I'm using again the glitter pack from Best Creation, the Happy Haunting, and I was determined to use that big scallop circle that came in the pack. So what I ended up doing was making a 5.5-inch square card, layering the circle onto one of the other pattern papers, and then I added a couple of strips. This card's going to be really busy. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was fun. So I ended up edging everything with black ink and then adhering it into place. And then for the ribbon, I chose the green AmyR's textured ribbon and just wrapped that around the card and tied it off. Again, these textured ribbons are definitely some of my favorite ribbons from the AmyR's line. I just really like how they tie, and they just, with the mix of colors and that, you can make them work with just about anything. So once I've got all my ribbon in place, I want to add a sentiment to the card, and I'm just using the Ghostly Greetings from my Ghostly Greetings stamp set. I thought it was rather fitting with this little image. So I stamped it with Brilliance ink onto a scrap of green cardstock and then punched it out with a Stampin' Up 1.25-inch punch. Yeah. And then just edged that with the Memento ink as well. So once I've got my layout pretty much how I want it, I want to of course add a few little bats using my Martha Stewart bat punch and some black cardstock. And then I want to make the main image have it popped up on dimensionals. So these ones I got from Jody Morrow. I'll put a little link to her blog in the description box. I buy all these black red line dimensionals from her, and I just cut them in half because you don't need too many. And then get that into place. And then for the sentiment, I also want it popped up on dimensionals. So again, I just cut another one in half because I only needed a small part of it. And it was just easy peasy. And then for the bats, I just used my Tombow Mono Multi adhesive. Just put the adhesive just on the center of the bat so that the wings, and then I curled the wings up a bit so they're popping out. And then, as always, acid-free tape on the ends of the ribbon so that I can use my ATG gun. It just makes it go over smoother. And then adhere that to the card base. And of course I had to add some stickles. So I'm just using crystal stickles because they have kind of a green reflect to them. And I had originally meant to dot it, and it just came globbering out, so I just spread it on and didn't worry about it. And the bats this time I decided to cover those with crystal stickles as well, because then you really can see the green and they really stand out doing it that way. Now for the inside of the card, again some more glitter papers from the Best Craft pack. And then I'm going to stamp the same Fluffles stamp again, this time just using the Memento Pear Tart ink onto a piece of white cardstock, cutting it out with the Spellbinders circle die, and I always tape it in place before I run it through the machine so that it doesn't shift. So I've got it just like so. And then I'm going to use another sentiment from the Ghostly Greeting set. This one is the Just For You. And stamping that onto the same scrap of cardstock, and then this time I'm punching it out with the Stampin' Up word window punch. And then I'll edge that with black ink in a minute as well. And I use my circle punch on another scrap of the pattern paper just to punch out that little web design. And then adhering everything into place. With glitter papers like this, you have to be more careful with adhering. You got to press really well because all the glitter on that paper kind of makes things harder to stick to. So just keep that in mind when you're using papers like this. And then of course adding some more little bats to the inside of the card. And then I will adhere that in place. And that's all there was to it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you've been enjoying my little Halloween series, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!